So today's reflection is based on Luke chapter 15. And we read that the Pharisees, and that's the religious leaders of the time, were criticising Jesus because he was mixing with people that they thought were bad people. The first verse of the chapter says that these people were all gathering around Jesus because they wanted to hear what he had to say. It seems even that Jesus was willing to eat with these people, and that's what the leaders thought was pretty disgraceful. And so Jesus told them a few stories. And the first one, it's a story of a shepherd who is putting his sheep in the fold for the night, and he counts them, and there's only 99, one missing. He doesn't just sort of glance around and say, I can't see it. Oh, well, 99's good enough. No, he leaves the 99 in the fold, and he goes and he searches and searches until he finds this one sheep. And when he finds it, he picks it up, puts it over his shoulders, and carries it home. And then he tells all his neighbours that, this is fantastic. I've found my lost sheep. And they all rejoice over it. And Jesus says, there's more rejoicing in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 righteous people. And then he has a second story of a woman who has 10 coins, but she's lost one. And so she just searches and searches the house until she finds that lost coin. And again, she rejoices and asks her neighbours to rejoice with her. And it says, there is rejoicing in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner who repents. So he's made his point that God cares about everyone. He does not want any person to be lost. He'll actively seek them out. 2 Peter 3:9 says this, the Lord is not slow about his promise, as some count slowness, but is patient toward you, not willing for any to perish, but for all to come to repentance. And then he tells the third story, which most people are very familiar with, or at least they've heard of it, and we call it the prodigal son. In this story, a man has 2 sons. The younger one asked his father if he could have his inheritance now. Now, this was insulting because it's really saying to the father, look, I can't wait till you die. I don't care about the family, I don't care about traditions, I want it now. And the father said yes, and gave the son his share. And so the son sets off to another country where he won't be known and he can do what he likes and no one's going to dob on him. We're told that he squandered his wealth in wild living. But eventually the money ran out and he found himself in a desperate situation. He hired himself to a local farmer and was sent out to feed the pigs. But he wasn't given anything. And it got to the stage he was so hungry that even the pig's will looked pretty tempting. And that's when he realised this was ridiculous. Even his father's hired servants had 3 square meals a day. He knew he'd blown his right to be a member of the family. But if his father would take him on as a servant, at least he could eat. So he set off home. Meanwhile, his father had been scanning the horizon every day, hoping his son would return. And on this particular day, he sees a figure on the horizon. And he watches and watches, recognising the walk. He eventually realises, yes, it is his son. Now, the father's reaction was not to wait for his son to get up to him and then give him a lecture saying, well, son, I hope you've learned your lesson. Rather, the story says that the father did something that was completely undignified, in fact, in that culture, quite disgraceful. He picked up his robes and he ran to meet his son. And he threw his arms around him and he kissed him. And all the son could say, he knew he'd blown it. He wasn't worthy to be his son anymore. But the father said to the servants, no, bring him a robe and bring a ring and put it on his finger. Now the ring was the family ring, and so that's saying to the son, you are a part of the family. And as if that wasn't enough, he then threw a massive party to celebrate. Now the older son, he was out in the fields and he was coming home that evening and he heard the noise of the party. And so he asked someone, what's going on? And they said, your brother has returned, your father's throwing a party. Well, he got mad and he wouldn't go in. So his father came out and pleaded with him. He said to his father, look, I've worked for you all these years. I've been slaving for you and never disobeyed your orders, but you've never ever given me as much as a young goat to celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours, who has squandered your property with prostitutes, comes home, You kill the fatted calf. But the father's reply, son, you're always with me. Everything I have is yours. It's right to celebrate that your brother has come home. Now, of course, the father in the story is God. He freely gives us everything that we have, and he gives us the free choice of how we use what he gives us. If we use what he's given us to live for ourselves and just for our pleasures, we will soon find ourselves empty. When we come to that rock bottom place, realise that we've wasted that life, the life we've been given, then we can turn to God and find that he's waiting for us with open arms. God's love is extravagant and possibly quite outrageous in the eyes of many people. This is a contrast to the religious leaders. They had no compassion for those who'd strayed from the life that God wanted of them. And the older brother is representing those Pharisees. But there's a danger that he is also representing us. God actively seeks those who have strayed from him, and he asks us to do exactly the same. Not to judge, not to look down upon. The angels rejoice when one sinner repents, and so should we.
How deep the Father's love for us, how vast beyond all measure, that he should give his only Son to make a wretch his treasure. How great the pain of searing loss, the Father turns his face away, as wounds which mar the chosen one